If they were really, really afraid, they should really have charged as many people as possible and made as many arrests as possible. Because they have legal powers of arrest. That's within their right to arrest people who they suspect of committing serious crimes. And there's no fundamental limit on the number of people they're allowed to arrest. So if they wanted to arrest the majority of that crowd for violent behaviour, they were within their rights to do so. And that would have kept them off the streets for a day, even if the charges didn't stick. But they preferred just to chuck can after can of tear gas at them. Because arresting people is complicated and dangerous and involves paperwork. And throwing tear gas doesn't involve paperwork. At least not as much. Stupid beyond belief. And while I know so many incredibly nice Muslims, some of whom have been great friends to this family, I think it's important we not fool ourselves that all cultures are equal. Look, we've told ourselves, and it's true, that all human beings are equal, in the sense that God and we should value them equally. But that doesn't mean all cultures are equally valid, and that all ideologies that are embedded within cultures, all value systems, are equally valid. They can't be, they're mutually exclusive, so many of them. And it's time to accept that there may be aspects which are deeply rooted in Muslim culture which are incompatible with British society. Their concept of honour, for instance. There's a story I was told, and forgive me, I've not time to look it up properly, so I'm going off memory, and it is late, of a Bedouin or some similar type person, someone living in tents, and the Muslims have a code of hospitality, or at least the Bedouins did, and he accepted a stranger into his house and offered him his hospitality and protection. And having done so, when his eldest son returned, he said, look, this man is the same man, I can't remember if it was murdered or raped my sister. I saw him do it myself. And his father says, yes, but I've given him shelter and protected him, and you can't possibly take revenge upon him or do anything nasty to him because he is our guest, and I've given him my guarantee of hospitality. And the son is so livid that in the night, I think it's in the night, he murders this guy. And the father kills the son for this. And in most places, they applaud the father for doing this because the son has brought dishonour upon his household. See, that's it. Honour is not something that's transferable. It doesn't have familial value. Built into the basis of Judaic culture in the law, there is a condition, an injunction: you shall not put to death children for the crimes of their fathers, or fathers for the crimes of their children. A person's good or bad actions, their honour, is, as it were, is not something that's transferable, or something that crosses family lines. Something that someone can gain by association. And this notion of honour in the eyes of others, you see, it's honour in the eye of God that matters. So often in Muslim culture, it's whether the family's honour has been seen to be damaged rather than whether it actually has been. And because of this, young men who declare that they are gay or declare that they don't wish to be Muslims, or young women who date the wrong person, a non-Muslim person that the family does not approve of, or who refuse arranged marriages, may suddenly find themselves murdered for their dishonour. Now that's just one example. Not all cultures are equal. Not all ideologies are equal, and I'm not going to apologise for imposing aspects of Judeo-Christian culture as it exists in the West upon the rest of the world. A poor little missionaries these horrible evil missionaries going around imposing the non-binding of feet, or the non-burning of wives, or not sacrificing your children to Molech. Those awful monotheistic types, those morpho Judeo-Christian types, limiting you in all these ways. And I'm not debating that Christianity has trampled on the cultures, unjustifiably trampled on the cultures of other creatures, other races, acted like English was the supreme language and all hymns should be in them, and taught people to read the Bible in English sometimes rather than bother to do translations into their own language. I won't deny any of these things, but let's not pretend that all of this desecration of cultural norms is a bad thing. The world is a much happier place without wives being burnt and foots being bound, and and it would be a much happier place without parents who think that their children owe them something in terms of their parents being able to make major life decisions in place of their children. This is not ancient Rome. We don't have any patris familia system here. There's no head of the house to make all significant decisions about everyone in the family for them. That's not the way we do it. People are responsible for themselves. And that's the way it should be. There was a very controversial study, and once again it's late and I'm not going to dig it up, but said that children's IQs actually changed when they moved from one culture to another. Children that had previously been in one cultural context, one cultural environment, were subsequently adopted by people from another culture, and there was a noticeable difference in their IQ tests before and after. And their hypothesis was actually different cultural norms adapt people better to developing intelligence. And that's not a comfortable thing to hear. But it may well be rooted in truth. It may well be to some degree valid. And I think it's about time we pushed over this sacred cow, that all cultures are equal. And I'm not going to say that British culture is perfect, not by a long run. It's full of flaws. But then it shouldn't be something that's static. We should always be looking to improve and refine our own culture. And yes, but I am proud to be British, which is one of the cultures which I think perhaps does a little better as opposed to some others when it comes to preparing people for living good, moral, empowered, um, wisdom-driven lives. Now, am I saying that that means that we're better than other people? No. I'm just saying that perhaps we do some things better than other people. And I don't think it's wrong to want to pass that on. And I don't think it's right that a culture should consider itself that it should remain static and unchanging and never criticize or modify itself, because I think to do so is to deny their own identity. That's rubbish. That's totally ridiculous.